Another 148 armour kit to review, this time from Hobby Boss. It's the Russian KV-2 tank. I like the Hobby Boss 148 armour range. It's good size and also cheap. Look at that, 15 bucks. How can you go wrong with that? Okay, there's going to be at least a dozen hours of building and painting and doing whatever to this kit, so that's very cheap entertainment. So, with that, let's have a look inside the box. Right, the first thing I get, people say to me, oh, 148 scale armour, it's too small. Right, there's the lower hull. Okay, that's a 135th scale Panzer II. I did this many years ago, so... Oop, and it's got a cat as well. How about that? Anyway, it's the same size. Okay, 148 scale is a great scale for doing large capital vehicles like a King Tiger, KV-2, T-34, that sort of size. So you know, don't write that small scale off. Yeah, let's skip backwards. Sorry, to the instructions. Actually, before we do that, I've got to. I don't like to make fun of Chinglish, the Chinese version of English, but you've got to read this. Okay, that's just hilarious. The KV-2 characteristic is the quick fried tower shape. The quick fried tower, yum, that equip 152mm of howitzers reports the hexagon keeps the square form resembling an enormous box. But it is said because of the excess, if not on the horizontal plane, drive-by heat the tower connect to revolve all and very difficult. I would have to agree with that. Because of such weakness, KV-2, this is brilliant, is in actual battle only used for proceeding to the virtuous soldier the thermodynamic power inhibit, but need not in the battlefield that hour of backstroke break war. Don't you love that? Anyway, moving on. Instructions. Typical Hobby Boss, very clear. Fold out, which I don't like, I prefer a little thing, but that's okay. Very clear instructions, very clear steps. Let's just go over this very quickly just to show you that, you know, they don't clutter the page up, they don't drag and fire their instructions by putting 1,000 different things going on everywhere. Okay, very simple, very easy. Again, another benefit of 148 scale. Yeah, not many parts. Okay, let's go through it carefully. Now, unlike the T-34 that I've just finished, no interior. So it's just a simple box, put it together, okay, put the suspension on, a few little greebles and things. Oh, I meant to put in another note, hang on, this is my trusty ring pen, I just remembered, here. So whenever you see me put a thing there, that's something we need to take note of, just remembered it then. Okay, so more parts for the top, so there's no engine, so the engine hatch goes on, some grills here, which could be replaced with photo etch, but they're not. Keep going, road wheels. Okay, the first thing to note here is this part has to go attached to the drive sprocket. Now the way I would do this, whereby you would dry fit the wheels first, build the tracks around the wheels, glue the tracks, let them go off, take everything off, I wouldn't put that in straight away. So that's why I've noted that there, okay? And possibly too with your, with the machine gun at the front there, you might want to leave that part off. Let's circle that just in case I forget, and then you can just put it on when you're finished doing all your heavy stuff. And again, for the shackles at the front, because they don't tell you until the end, you actually need to put some tow cables on. So the way I would do that is put them on, paint them, put it together, paint and weather them separately, and then put them on to this bit at the end. Okay, so don't put them on there. They give you a jig. They do this for most of their stuff. These jigs that come on the sprues to do the tracks. I use the Harry Houdini method of using Revell contactor glue. Have I got it there? No, I don't have it there. A very slow setting styrene glue, and you put all the pieces together, you glue them all together, you roll them all onto the wheels, weight them down, with clamps or what have you, let it slowly go off, okay, and set, and then remove the whole thing, and you've got perfectly formed tracks. Now the only tricky bit in this entire kit, which I'll just show here, is some photo etch. Now they give you these very flat, so it should be easy to cut, and there's no bending involved, photo etch for the brackets for the fenders. Now, they're not structural. You see how here and here they're notched. So you can glue the fender straight into the hull, and then you simply attach. Whoops, you attach the various brackets onto the plastic. So they're not structural. They're just an easy sort of thing to show that's very thin sheet metal. So it shouldn't be a drama if you're not new to photo etch. It will be an easy job to do. Okay. So yeah, we put the boxes on. I've just found out you can get these in photo etch as well if you want, but I think they're fine in that scale. And then we move to the turret, which is just a big, what do they say? Resembling an enormous box. And indeed it is. Quite a few parts. It's not one piece molded. We've got the mantlet. We've got the stuff here. Now I've noted this. It's a 2-part barrel. You can buy the RB models barrel for this. It's only a couple of dollars, like $2.50 American, I think. So I might get that for that, because I hate putting barrels together, and that's a very prominent part. And if you don't get that seam right, and it's got a few crenellations there, and also at the muzzle, it's going to look a bit naff. So I'm going to get a barrel for that, I think, the brass one. A few more parts to put on, and here's those tow cables I don't tell you about until the end. Okay. Well, they do tell you at the end. Look at that. I must have got that back to front. It's the rear. It's the rear shackles. Okay. I take that back. Hobby Boss, well done. Thank you. And then a nice sprue map to tell you. Only a couple of parts, a couple of spares, so that's handy. Now, let's move on to the decals. Of which there's bugger all. That's too much light there. Yeah. Forget about it. Let's look at this. Alright, so this is the colour call out, and the colour call out is green. 4BO green, Russian green. They recommend guns 135. Have I got that handy? No. I've just bought some Mr. Paint 4BO, so I'll probably use that, but I'm thinking about doing this as a whitewash. Now, what's really interesting about this, they give you 3 markings here. The third one of which is nothing, no decal. The second one is a bit of paintwork on the side of that enormous turret. And the first one, which is hilarious, this kit is just making me laugh. I'm already having fun with it. I haven't even started building it. A captured KV-2 heavy tank of an unidentified unit, Dubno, Poland, Gen 41. It says there, 2nd Regiment, General Goering. Unidentified. That's the unit. Now the other funny thing too is the decal is repeated on both sides of the turret exactly. I'll have a look at the references, and if I can find the reference shot of this particular vehicle, if it does exist, I'll put it up here somewhere. But I doubt it's going to be the exact same markings on both sides of the turret. Well, I'll have to have a look at that. So yeah, you can do a captured, and the Germans famously, captured these and put big, massive black crosses on the side of the turret to do that. So if you're looking for an easy paint scheme, you're looking for an easy tank to build, this is it. Okay, and yeah. So let's look at the parts. So I've had a look at the hull already. They do tell you to remove some parts here. See these little divots in there, the rectangular etchings. Okay, they tell you to take some of those off, I think. Funnily enough, they're recessed and not the other way around. Bottom's pretty good, and even got rivets and one little sinkhole there, but that's pretty good. Let's move on to the enormous turret. Okay. There is a slight, very, very minor cast texture to that turret. The camera won't pick that up because it's just so slight. It's probably just the normal plastic. But the weld seams are agriculturally bad, which is perfect because Russian tanks of that time period, can you see that? See that seam? Okay, it's rubbish. That's what they're like. I've got some photos of a T-34 up in the Cairns and Army Museum. Rubbish welding. I mean, really poor quality. I mean, they slapped these together. They had to. Yeah, everything looks good. Bit of flash, a few additional ejection pins here and there, but all of that looks quite easy to. Yeah, look at the flash on those grab handles there. You might want to replace those with brass or what have you. But yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised with Hobby Boss in this sort of scale. Here's the other sprue of the lower hull. Okay, it's looking alright. Again, agricultural weld seams. That's really good. They're not out of scale. That's how bad they were. All the parts have got these nice hooks there, very fine, very well done. Yeah, I can't fault any of the detail here. And if you watch any of my inbox reviews and build reviews, I don't really care that much about accuracy, okay? I care more about detail, fit and engineering. So if parts of this are inaccurate, tell me. As long as the shape's not too bad, I don't care. That's a nice cable. It's got very fine detail on it. It's really, really good. $15, ladies and gentlemen. That's how much this kit costs. 15 bucks. Here are the fenders. And as you can see, you got the... Oh, where are they? Oh, that's not really good. They've put the sprue gate... Oh, here we go. See, they put the sprue gates right on the attachment lugs. Got some nasty ejection pin marks. Some are raised, some are recessed. Should be easy to fill if you want to go to that length. I'll just fill that with mud. There's no point there. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Just got to take care when you snip these fenders off to make sure you get enough. You're never going to see these bits, so that's a good thing. But just make sure you got enough meat there to shove into the side of the hull. Here's that two-piece barrel. Okay, that I warned about at the start. It's pretty nasty on the inside with ejection pin marks. I don't think it's going to go together terribly well. Invest the extra $2. I'm down 15 bucks. I better invest another $2 or $3. Lots of nice big raised rivets and bolts here everywhere. That's really. Oops, pick that up, camera. This is going to weather really, really nicely, and that's the reason why I buy 148 armor, is to practice my weathering. Just a few ancillary pieces for the cable tow. Again, I'm thinking about getting another. It does include it. I didn't show it before. They do give you a nice metal cable, but I didn't find that was that. It's a bit flat. It's a bit, this copper wire braid. It's really not the best quality. I found it didn't go down too well on my T34, so I might invest in a Eureka style one. I'm rambling. Let's keep going. Okay, road wheels. Road wheels look pretty good. Nice detail. They'll all take a wash very well. And I think that's just a repeat. Yes, it is. And then we get to the tracks. Tracks are always the contentious point on AFVs, and like I explained in the instructions, what they do for this one. Can you see the bend in the lower one? I'm pointing at this. Okay, see, they've already done the weighted tracks for you for the top run. Okay, so as they roll over the return rollers, and then obviously there's flat pieces for the bottom. And here are the jigs. So you glue these jigs together, and then you carefully align up all your individual ones around there, and there you go. You can give that a go, or like I said, try the Houdini method, where you just glue them all together in a row, and then just wrap them, let them go off for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, using the Revell glue, it won't go off for at least a half hour or an hour before it actually solidly welds. Then you just wrap it around the drive sprocket and the idler wheel, and there it is. There are injection pins on the inside of every single track. What a bugger. Okay, but that shouldn't be a drama because they'll be completely covered by the wheels. So, and they're recessed. Oh, there's a couple proud ones. I know that'll just come off a bit of plastic. Yes, so that's not a drama. There are recessed ones there, but yes. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's about 6 or 7 little sprues. You should be able to build this in an afternoon. Get back here. Should be able to build this in an afternoon, and as I said, the only things to note really are the possibly some photo etched grills if you want to go that way instead of the plastic. Leave the MG off until the end, until you finish your major painting, because it's going to be metallic anyway. Shackles on the rear are fine, so unless you want to put a tow cable over the back as well. You've got your photo etch on your fenders just to take note of. So just make sure this attachment point is nice and flush all along here, and get a new barrel perhaps. I would. And yeah, the cables are here. Again, I might get some different cables, and that's about it. So let's have a look and see how we went. So there's the lower hull all done. It's all primed in black, as you can see. Nice. I like to black base, if you haven't noticed already. Okay, went together extremely well. I'm fairly happy with that. No real problems apart from there was a little. I'll see if the camera can probably pick it up. Yeah, it's pretty crappy join there on the back, so I'll probably rescribe that. I had to use a bit of filler. So it's the engineering they do across here isn't that sound. It doesn't give you a very perfect, you know, Tamiya-like fit. So I just had to have a bit of trouble to get it there, and then there was a bit of a gap, so I've just filled that, and so like I said, I'll just scribe that out and get it out. The instructions aren't perfectly clear on the on these headlight arrangements here. I don't know if that camera's picking that up. I need to get a better camera. This one's crappy. Yeah, but I think I put the wrong thing on the wrong spot. I wasn't paying attention, or the thing wasn't that clear. Yeah, but not too bad overall. Quite easy to build. Completely different to the T34 I just finished. There's no interior, as you can see. I flubbed a bit. I put one. See how there's just one tow cable there. Okay, instead of doing the two, because I couldn't be bothered cutting that cable in half, if I'm honest. Because I always have drama with braided copper wire when you try to put it back into the styrene tow hook thing. You can never really get a good fit. So I just left it as is, and I figured, well, okay, maybe they've got one long tow cable. So yeah, that came together quite well. The photo etch is really easy to do. It's flat. There's no bending whatsoever, and it's a snug fit. It's, you know, it was really well done. So if that's your first time doing photo etch for tanks, yeah, I can't see any dramas with it. These mesh grills, see the mesh grills there? Okay, they're in plastic. They're a bit naff. Probably could replace those with PE, with photo etch as well, but it's okay. That'll do. You know, as I said, $15 kit. The other thing I did, we'll go to the turret now, is replace that barrel. Let's see if the camera can see the rifling. Can you see that? That's a metal barrel. There you go. Closer. Come on. Come on. Here. Doesn't want to do it. Anyway, one piece metal barrel. As you can see, nice and cylindrical, nicely shaped. It's got some good ridges in there. It's completely, you know, 10 times better than the plastic crap in the kit. And it costs, what, $2.95? So how can you go wrong? Okay, and it was a snug fit. It just snapped straight in there. A little bit of super glue in the end. So again, if that's your first time doing, you know, using metal barrels with armor kits, can't go wrong with this one. The other tip to do, see that machine gun on the back there, okay, and also on the hull. Put them on last, okay. Like literally, I literally glued them on as I was pouring primer into the airbrush, because yeah, sure enough, you're going to knock them off. Same with those handles on the turret. So yeah, that all went together exceedingly well. The next thing to do was the tracks. Okay, so look at both track runs. This was a little bit trickier than I expected because the instructions were slightly out. You actually need one extra. I think it was on the front. You need one more than what they say. So maybe it was a translation problem. I think they said 8. I think you need 9. So just be ready to add another one, because the method I use to do tracks is the Harry Houdini one, where you get a piece of double-sided tape, put it on your bench, assemble the tracks as one complete run, and then hit it with the Revell contactor glue, the very slow glue. Let it sit for 15 minutes, go have a cup of coffee, come back, then wrap it around your wheels. And when I did that, I realized, oh, there's not enough track. So I just quickly popped in another one, let it all set, and pulled it all off, and yeah, there's your track sag, and it's all one piece and all nicely primed in black. Probably should have primed it in my usual dark brown mix, but that's alright. I was lazy, I just primed the whole thing at once. Yeah, so the tracks look alright, tracks are doing well. The wheels were all good. There's a funny, where is it? Yes, you have to install these little brackets. Okay, you have to install these pair of brackets inside the drive sprocket before we put everything on. So that was a bit of a pain. So that was the only thing to do separately. But all the wheels are ready to go. Okay, easy peasy. These didn't have very big rubber on them, as you can see. It was just the edge. So I'm just going to paint the whole thing in green, and then just effectively dry brush on an edge to that. Same with the idlers. Sorry, the return rollers. Okay. Because the way I'm going to depict this one, which I'll show in the in the next part of this video, this is just the build bit, is I've made a base, okay, very simple base. This is the same size as my my Tiger, my 148 Tiger. Got a bit of a cleanup to do there. And so the idea I've got for this is to put, as you can see, it goes like that. Right. The reason I make bases is it gets it off the table, so you can see it a bit better. You can see the whole vehicle, but also it's a good experimental technique for doing different styles of weathering. And what I intend to do with this one is, if you think about the color of a Russian vehicle, it's going to be green. I'm going to do whitewash because I'm going to be doing a Russian winter, so it's going to be whitewashed mainly. Oh, come on camera, zoom in again. Mainly worn off. I'm going to try that technique. I've never done that before. And I'm going to take a leaf out of Michael Rinaldi's book and try his techniques with that. So so it's going to be whitewashed. So you're still going to see the green, and you're going to have the colours and the tones of the mud. So to contrast that, I want the bottom to be a different colour. So what I'm going to go for is I'm actually going to paint the bottom in a pseudo Panzer grey to contrast the green and white and the coldness. I'm trying to get the coldness of a Russian winter in the whole thing. Probably a waste of time, but something fun to do. And also, like, this is going to be an experiment. I want to do more on oil rendering and more on dusting, and it's a big learning curve, so I want to keep on learning. So stay tuned, and that's enough for now. Catch you later.